So here's my digital thermometer. I couldn't say nicer things about this stuff. Therm Pro. I'd get the 4 probe next time though. And the reason for that is you'd have one extra probe for a different part of the meat or whatever you're cooking. And you'd have one just to sit on the grate to see what the temperature is at the food level. I mean, these work okay. See, I'm right where I want to be right now, 2 1/4. I was all, worried about, when you first start doing this, you're worried about everything. But when you're using these digital thermometers, now I'll be looking for 157 on the fish and 161 on the pork. Number 1 is the fish, number 2 is the pork. And even though you don't have the most expensive smoker in the world, who cares? Well, you care because heat regulation's an issue. Not so much with what I'm doing here. Like I said, salmon is super easy. You can't really do anything wrong to it. I mean, you could. You'd have to incinerate it by just not paying attention. And pork is super easy too. It's not like brisket that the way you cook it makes it more tender. So I'm not going to be babysitting this like I normally would be with brisket, which is really like a 6 or 8 hour babysitting event. I'll tell you, I was in Walmart. I swore I'd never buy a Walmart brisket, but they had a 3-pounder in there, and I bought it. I'm going to try it. It's a flat. It's worth a try. See what I can do, What else was I going to tell you? Yeah, with the digital thermometer, if it wasn't for one of those, shit, you'd be guessing all the time. Probably be dead by now by trichinosis. You learn a lot. This smoking right here is easy. The kind of food I'm smoking is, start out with that. It'll build your confidence up. I didn't. I went right into brisket. Broke 2 teeth on the first one I cooked. That's the way I do everything though. So, but a guy told me, and this made sense, that when you're cooking brisket, it is more like baking than cooking, which is true. It's like parameters and, not too high, not too low, steady, consistent. It's a turtle way of cooking, not the hare. It's a turtle way of cooking. But this is easy. Grilling's even super easy. But you notice where I was really char grilling a lot of stuff earlier with that cheap little cooker I have over on the top of that mowing deck. You can get away with that. I mean, I like charred food, but most people don't like it. They say it's burned, which I guess you could say it is. It's not good for you. I do like it that way though. So for me to cook on a cheap smoker, it's a grill, it didn't matter because I liked it that way. But if you're having somebody over, they're probably not going to like it that way. And when I have good steaks, hey, by the way, those choice steaks you get, the higher end ones, are $13 a pound at Walmart. They're good. I mean, prime is $30 a pound. It's not worth it. I'm not getting prime anymore as long as that Walmart's still selling those choice steaks. They're good. I mean, I'll probably grow a dick out of my forehead because of hormones, but so what? Hopefully it's longer than the one that I have now. And what else was I going to tell you about this? Yeah, get the digital thermometer, the smoker. Talked about the lump charcoal. I didn't know anything about smoking 3 months ago. Good book. Aaron Franklin has a book that's good. It's like the top grossing barbecue place in the country. I think they do like 36 million a year. They're only open 4 hours a day. To me, that's the only way I think that there'd be any money in brisket is if you're cooking, 50 of them at a time. I mean, if you're babysitting 2 or 3 and then expecting people to come in, everybody bitches about the price. I just don't see it. If you're thinking of doing a little food stand, food truck, pulled pork's where the money's at. Get it for 89 cents a pound wholesale. Just charge $8 for a sandwich, all sorts of kick-ass sausage and a good bun. You'll be killing it. But brisket, no way. I mean, you can do it, but like I said, you got to cook 60 at a time. So see, right now, my temperature's starting to spike up a little bit, but I don't really care. Now, if it was heading towards, it was getting much higher on brisket, I'd be doing something right now to keep it at the 225. But with this stuff, I don't really care. And once in a while, I just throw in a little chunk of something else for the hell of it, because I'm bored. Here's some pecan right here. Mix up the woods a little bit. Put a couple pecan. That's apple wood right there. And a lot of guys like do a lot of measuring and stuff. You'll see that smoke really kick in now on the top. Once that, see, that's a good clear, like see-through light blue smoke, what you're looking for. That's called clean smoke. You watch, it'll darken up now, it'll get whiter. I don't really measure the outside stack smoke that much. You see how it's getting whiter now? I don't give a shit. It's too late by then. And I get obsessed with everything. See my temperatures here? 121 on the fish. It cooks so much quicker than pork. 90 on the pork, which I expected. Now this little reader here will work 500 feet away. People ask me email, it's like, doesn't it seem like dirty when you're smoking? Yeah, I don't put any food or anything on these shelves. I mean, this is outside. You can clean it off, but a smoker is always kind of dirty. You know what I mean? I do pressure wash the grill. I season it. Then I spray it with canola oil. But the outside, I just don't even try. It's a losing battle with something outside in Georgia. So there's no food exposed to like the dirty parts, you know. That's my my add-on smokestack. That was a guy talked about that on YouTube. I put fire bricks in the firebox too. I forgot to mention that. And I put baffles in the bottom. So, you know, my temperature's climbing up a little bit because I just put those logs in there, but I don't really care with fish and pork. But it's been a really good time. Oh, the best place, if you have an Academy Sports, that's the best place to get wood. Walmart sells some good hickory, but I noticed it wasn't in the one yesterday in Thompson. I stock up on it, though, when I get it. But you should be able to get a 1.5 cubic feet for around 20 bucks. You buy that stuff like most places are selling, like Home Depot and Lowe's. It's 20 bucks for a cubic foot. You'll go broke smoking with that. That's another thing about cheap smokers is you go through a lot of coal and wood because they're cheap and they don't retain heat. This is a cheap smoker, although this is 3/8 inch. No, it's not. It's 1/4 inch. No, this is 1/4 inch on the barrel. Yeah, 1/4 inch on the firebox. No, 3/8, 1/4 inch. Yeah, 1/4 inch, which is good enough. But if I had my druthers, it'd be 3/8 inch everywhere. See, I can hear that fish sizzling in there. And I do try to get the when I can. When there's something I really want to do right, and somebody's coming over, or I'm cooking it for somebody else, I do buy choice meat. I mean prime meat. Prime. You can get it at Costco. There's arguments. I was surprised that brisket is even graded. You know, brisket, they were throwing it away 50 years ago. And I always do the flat. I don't want to mess around with pulling that meat off the point and screw it. So I never cook a full packer brisket because I don't want that other part of it. Be just giving it to the buzzards anyway. Yeah. And it's interesting when you read about cooking how it breaks down the food, which is what cooking is. You know, too much. Like an example, marinating. You know, if you don't really read on this stuff, you'll wreck food. Salmon's a perfect example. You'll read articles that'll give you the totally false information. Like you think, oh, I really want my salmon to be really marinated, and I'll do it overnight. Yeah, it's like curing cod. I do it for an hour, and that's good enough. And I'm not a guy that likes putting sauce on my stuff while I'm smoking it. I mean, if you smoke it right, you don't need any sauce. Now, Marty likes this honey dipping sauce that I'll put some in the salmon for him. But if it was just for me, I wouldn't mess with it. You don't need it. See, this is getting up around 250 now. So I'll shut this down a little bit. Choke this fire off. I always try and take care of everything on this end. Instead of choking it there. I don't like all that white buildup smoke backing up. You know, there's all sorts of different smokers, reverse flow. This is a offset stick smoker. That's what they call it. Offset stick smoker. When I started this 12:30, this ought to be ready. 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, about 3:30. All this stuff should be ready. You know, the pork coming up slow. See, the fish is 135 already. Fish will be done soon. 155 on the fish. I put my water trays in a different spot today because there's so much. It's a bad design. The firebox connected to the cooking chamber. It's right up there. It's cheap metal, and it gets too hot on this end. I burnt the shit out of some chicken wings at this end. So I've moved everything in the middle, and I've got the pork loins at the end because I was more, if I had to take my choice what I wanted to come out the best, it's the fish, not the pork. I can always leave it in here longer. Partying. It's interesting to see how food cooks. It just kind of stalls, comes up. You notice that with brisket. It'll cook its ass off for 2 hours and then just stay there. And that's the moisture trying to get out, and the moisture is outdoing the heating effect. It's called the stall. All this bullshit makes sense when you finally do it. And the worst thing, you mess it up like I did my briskets at the beginning. You give it to the buzzards. Speaking of the buzzards, I bought them tripe. Boy, they ate almost 2 pounds of it yesterday. I think I'll go check, see how they're doing. This is really easy, this cooking this. I dug some stumps out here the other day. Down here they got a lot of these big ass like Tarzan vines that get hard. I'm telling you, man. I mean, this isn't the world's greatest excavator, but it's still, 80 grand. And I would have that bucket, and I would be trying to dig these stumps out, which I eventually got out. And that hole, I'd have that ass end of that excavator up in the air 4 feet. I mean, it can't tip over because, I've got the bucket in close. I'm getting as much leverage as I can. But man, it shows you, this tree stuff is tough, man. I left it out here because it was getting dark at the end, even though it's got lights. This is a hell of a piece of equipment, though. But, if the dirt's really hard and, like, packed, you can't just scoop a thing of clay out. Dirt I can, but clay I can't. It's fun driving around. I used the grader yesterday too. It shows you how stupid I am. We don't read the manuals. We just put the key in and start driving. When we first got this, I thought that was used to put on the ground so you didn't tip over. Anybody hiring? So I dug these stumps out. It tears up the grass too, but Marty's like, he doesn't like the grass getting torn up, but it's just going to happen. Anything you have on tracks, if it was an expensive development, they'd have plywood. I don't care how you baby it. You turn like a sharp turn, you're tearing up grass. You can see I did plenty of it. But I got all the stumps torn out here. Anybody out there that does landscaping, they talk about pine straw, wood chips, gravel. I don't know. I think I'd probably just leave it. It'll look a lot better. Waiting for these weeds to die down. Let's see if they finished off their tripe. They ate the hell out of that. I'll tell you one thing. I knew this, but you don't really notice it when you're seeing these buzzards, and that is that they can bite hard, but they'd never attack you like dig 2 inches out of your forehead. But when they're eating food, this tripe, it's hard to cut with even a sharp knife. It's the inner linings of generally what's sold retail, cows' stomachs. They ate it all. It's all gone. Put it right out here. I'm going to fix this winter. Hopefully. I said I was going to fix it last winter. Now these buzzards, boy, these buzzards are beautiful. They look so healthy. They sit out here on the road. They're either up in the tree. They still don't want to fly too far away from home. And I notice when it's lightning, they'll go in the building even though they're capable of flying and going somewhere else. Love these black vultures. Got rain last night. They're not out here today, or they're up in the trees. I've never seen the babies. They could be in the building too. Crazy. I like being back too. I know I made a right move. Oh, here's a piece of that tripe right there, a piece left. Now I say they ate it all. Maybe something got it last night, what was left. But they ate a lot of it before sunset. Hear the birds singing. This is how it is all the time down here. I hear you, birdie. You know, we decided to quit cutting the grass for the bees. But to be honest with you, it just looked like shit. Marty said he didn't mind it. I think he did. So I caught everything up when I got home Monday. Well, I got home Sunday, but I did it Monday. This grass up here, even though it looks like okay, it looks like shit. So I cut it all. Yeah, they're out there flying with their parents. Unbelievable. I mean, it's not unbelievable. You know, they fledged right on time. I knew it would be right around June 12th, based on when the eggs hatch, on what I read. Sure as shit, it took to the skies. I like these old buildings. Any of you guys that I'm friends with, you're welcome to metal detect down here. I think it's heaven. I just realized I got a metal detector. Not enough action for me. First 2 pop cans, I'm out. You'll see these vultures up here a lot, but they're gone out flying, learning lessons, learning life lessons. They're scheduling the concrete for next Tuesday. These are these damn red ants. For a while I wasn't like knocking over their mounds, but I'm back to knocking them over again. It's because Marty's grandchildren visit and they run around out here. Probably laid a bunch of eggs, watch. Yeah, see them? See the eggs? I hear you, birdie. Well, these things set up shop. I'm not kidding you, man. They say the insect world runs the earth. I kind of believe that. You know, another weird thing is I'm the least mechanical guy in the world, but I've learned a lot. I do the maintenance on this equipment. I hated it at first, but I kind of like it now. I noticed when I was up in Michigan that Ace Hardware is selling a mower similar to the Bobcat. I bet a company makes them for everybody. It's not really Bobcat. And it actually had some better designs. You know, I used to know a guy down in Illinois, owned an antique store. Really sharp guy, uneducated but smart. And Farmo, I think it was Farmo, one of those big tractor companies. They would consult him. They'd pay him and they'd fly him out to the manufacturing plant on new ideas. You know, and here's a guy that, you know, used tractors for 40 years. And they listened to what he said. I mean, you got smart engineers that are designing this. And then you've got guys that use it in the real world. And they gave them all sorts of cool stuff. See, these mushrooms came up in a day. 2 days, actually. Today's Wednesday. But if you think these ants, you know, I ran over all these. Oh, this is a water we got for the bees. I gotta put some more bird seed out. You ever look at honeybees? They come from way above and then dive. Can hear them. Let's kick it. That's so the cats can run around. I say the temperature is up a little. We'll see. Yeah, up a lot. 260. So I will shut this all the way off now. And because it's that high, I will damper the top, which I try not to do. Total hillbilly style, of course. I'll be checking in with you later.